you heard of Shockholm, Scandinavia's biggest Halloween parade? Neither had I until I started looking around for Halloween parties to attend. Let's have a look at what Stockholm had to offer during Halloween, and Shockholm in particular. Now, Shockholm took place in Kungsträdgården, the King's Garden, in Stockholm, on a cold and rainy November evening. Sounds a bit like the beginning of an Edgar Allan Poe novel, but with less dread and more dull grayness. Normally, King's Garden is a large square and a park in the center of the city, but now and then events take place here, with lots of food trucks and tents, and the stage is put to good use. There's everything from concerts to food tasting to diversity talks happening in this area, but today we focus on Halloween. There weren't many people in costume yet, but I did find some, like a Power Ranger and a pirate lounging around. Other than that, just look at the normal looking crowd. Good thing I put on my wizard robe so there was someone else dressing up at least. Swedish people are pretty bad at celebrating Halloween, you know, at least the dressing up part. While waiting for the show to start, you could try some gourmet churros. Weird stuff. We just had plain ones with cinnamon instead. And if you want to be more adventurous than that, you could try a bull ride. I don't see what it had to do with Halloween, but they did their best. Look at its fierce glowing eyes. Well, alright. It just looks like a tiny scared cow hiding behind a blanket, but they tried at least. Things started happening on the stage around this time, but it was mostly zombies shuffling around aimlessly. The crowd acted in almost the same manner. I think it was the freezing cold making everyone lethargic. And speaking of cold, I'm not kidding about the freezing cold in Stockholm during Halloween. Look at this ice skating rink in the King's Garden. I lived there for many years now and they always put up this rink, but I have never tried it even once. Maybe I should have done it now. Would you have liked to see a wizard with wobbly legs flop on his ass? Anyway, eventually the show started to great anticipation. A tall scarecrow king dude posed and walked around to some scary music, and things started to look up. Maybe this was going to be an awesome Halloween party. Then the MC got out on stage and, well, that adjusted the expectations. The schedule sounded dull, his attempts at bad jokes fell flat, and it all felt disjointed and ill-prepared, and maybe even ill-advised in what numbers they included. No offense to the planners or performers at Shockholm, but I wasn't very impressed. There was a dance number that, well, let's just say that the choreography seemed decent, but the style felt out of place. The performance was just okay, and there didn't seem to be much effort into making it Halloween themed. There was also a pretty good song number by Miss Sister, but I'm not sure that the budget was well spent. If you have money to spend on hiring an artist for a Halloween event, make sure that you get one that has a connection with the theme, right? Other than that, there was improvised music and other things happening on stage, but by this time the temperature was down to -40 at least, so enough of the lackluster show and let's head to a nearby bar. The one we picked first was TGI Fridays, which is just by the King's Garden. Did you know that Apple tried to get permission to build an Apple store right here? They would have torn down this bar and replaced it with an ugly glass and chrome box. I'm so happy that the city planners put a stop to it. Even dark wizards need to get a drink sometimes. I just wish that there had been more people dressed up here as well. So where are all the people in costume? Turns out that they were all attending the parade after the show, and by now the sun had left us in darkness. Fitting for Halloween, but it's really annoying that you just get a few hours of grayish sunlight every day this time of year. The parade went from King's Garden, past the Royal Castle, and onwards to Old Town. It's a pleasant walk, but the parade itself seemed a bit disorganized, and no one knew where it started or where people just walked naturally in groups. After crossing the bridge over the ever-flowing waters of Stockholm, you get to the royal castle. I still don't know who the Scarecrow King Skeleton dude was supposed to be, but he greeted us with a royal wave as we walked past. Thank you for showing us that we're on the right way, good sir. Old Town is a great place to walk in Stockholm. It's even better when filled with all kinds of people in costume, mixed with the usual tourists. We even saw a dressed-up dog. We like dogs. So, we eventually found some really good costumes after all. I take back what I said about Swedes never dressing up for Halloween. Some people do, and some do a really good job at it too. Mission accomplished, it was time to hit the bars. We started out with a Halloween party at the Liffey. This is one of my favorite places, and they had done a good job decorating. But the ratio of dressed up people compared to normies shrank once more. If you ever go to the Liffey, check out the basement. Many bars in Old Town have centuries-old cellar vaults that are well worth a visit. This area is a good place to go out in general in my view. A bit touristy, but I love the old streets and the scenery. And it's not just quaint old pubs either. As darkness settled even further, another type of creatures of the night emerged, flocking to the club scene. A Halloween party at Mr. French turned out to be quite packed. I didn't really approve of the costume choices people made though. Come on, I wanna see stupid looking werewolves and people in crappy zombie outfits, not posh people dressing up by adding a mysterious mask on top of normal clothes. All in all, Shockholm and Halloween in general in Stockholm was fun, but not as good as I hoped it would be. Maybe I just have this idealized view of Halloween as being full of people in elaborate costumes, with a focus on the theme itself rather than just having another excuse for a night out. You can do all of that any other night. Why not take the opportunity to have some spooky fun instead on Halloween? Stockholm, don't disappoint me next year, or I'll have to go on a Halloween cruise to Riga instead or something like that. Well, that's all for now. Have a great day. Now, do you like reviews of events and travels and all kinds of fun experiences? Click subscribe to see what else I get up to. Oh, and why didn't anyone tell me that pumpkins go bad if they're kept indoors as lanterns? My god, this was horrible to dispose of.